Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another What I Eat in a Day. So the sun is shining, it's a bank holiday weekend and I have lots to do today in the way of DIY. Andy and I are panelling our staircase and we're attempting to do this ourselves. We did kind of look into the fact of getting someone to do it for us, but actually we kind of wanted to have a go. There are lots of little bits and bobs that we want to do to the house and we figured we may as well start trying to do some of it ourselves because number one, it's more affordable. Number two, we really need to up our DIY skills. And again, there's so much we want to do. It'd be nice to do bits and bobs ourselves and add character here and there, add our personalities. So that is the plan today. We've actually started the paneling Friday night and we're really excited. We've made some really fantastic progress actually. We have a friend helping us as well who's done paneling before, so that's really helpful just to get his kind of take on things and how we should cut, because this is a 1920s house, so the walls are not straight. They're bumpy and they move here and there. They're not quite the degree of angle that we would like, but I kind of feel like that adds character, charm, personality. So we're kind of working with what we have and we're having to kind of go a little bit of an extra mile, I suppose, to make sure that things fit as we want and things align as we want them to, because we don't have the perfect lines and the perfect walls. Anyway, long story short, we are paneling today, so I still wanted to do What I Eat Today. I've been really enjoying filming them. You guys love watching them, but today is going to be quite a busy, hectic, on-the-go eating kind of situation, which again, I feel is quite helpful. Everything that I'm going to be eating, I'm going to prepare. But there might be some kind of quick fixes here and there, maybe a few more snacks, just because again we're so busy, we're cutting, we're cleaning, we're moving, we're up and downstairs constantly all day, so I feel like I might need a little bit more. But that is another reason why I'm not wearing any makeup today. You're not going to get a glamorous What I Eat in a Day. What I am quite happy about is that the sun is out and my bright fluorescent pink Lucy and Yak overalls are on. I have not worn these. Actually, I've not worn these for the last couple of summers just because they didn't fit, and I'm really happy to get back in them. I just love this colour so much. I hung on to them because I just couldn't bear to part with them, and I'm so happy that I'm in them again. I'm actually also wearing a Lucy and Yak cotton t-shirt, which I love. I've had this for years. Really fantastic quality. My watch and my bracelets are the same. I do have an Essie nail polish on today, which is different to the last one that I've been wearing recently, which was Fiji. I can't remember the name of this. If I do remember, I will try and pop the name in the description box for you. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy it. Again, it's going to be quite a busy, hectic, running about one. But I think that it'll be kind of standard though. Sandwiches for lunch, something nice for dinner because I do want to cook. This morning I had yogurt for breakfast and berries and fruit, which was wonderful. It was like having a bowl of sunshine, so I'll insert that now. As it's such a beautiful and sunny morning, I figured I would do something quite bright and fresh and fun. So I'm going to whip up some yogurt. I say whip up. I'm going to serve myself some yogurt and cut some fruit. So I have a selection of fruit here. I have some blackberries. I'm not a mad fan of blueberries. Like, I know everyone loves them. I'm, you know, neither here nor there about them really. But what I do love with my yogurt particularly is peaches, and I get these perfectly ripe ones and prefer them to the ripen at home ones because they're soft and fuzzy and delicious and sweet and ready to go. And yeah, anyway, I have some of those. I also have some raspberries as well, which I'm going to give a rinse, and to have with it I'm going to have my yogurt. Now, I've mentioned this before, there's still a bit of grey area in how you pronounce this, so I'm not going to, but this is the yogurt that I use. It's free on WW, as is all of the fruit. The only thing you do have to factor in is if you're going to use any honey, which I am going to. And yeah, I'm not going to measure out my yogurt because I'm not being particularly numerate. I tend to just do it by eye. I know the amount that I like, and it tends to be a few hefty tablespoons this size. Berries are rinsed and I'm just going to slice up some peach. And as you can see, they're so soft and juicy and delicious. You can't see that they're delicious obviously, but you can see all of the juice coming out and that's lovely and sweet. I'm just going to cut this into little cubes. I'm so happy the sun is out. It's surprising just how much your mood elevates in the morning with a little bit of sunshine. I mean, you guys know autumn, winter are my favourite seasons, but once spring hits, I'm ready for sun. Like, I feel like there's a time and place for gloom, and honestly, I feel like it's all we've had. But anyway, here's my yogurt. I'm just gonna pop the fruit on the side. Now, I'm not going to use all of this peach, but what I am going to do is leave it out on the side, and I will definitely nibble away at that as the day goes on. So I also have my peach, not my peach, sorry, my plum, and I'm just going to, again, cut that in the same sort of way into little chunks. And whatever I don't eat here, I will nibble at during the day, although I have a feeling there's not going to be much left of this plum because I absolutely love them. Have a few hours until lunch, so I'm going to finish my massive coffee, get my hair tied up, and get on with the rest of my day. But give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I hope you all enjoy it. 3 hours later now, and we've decided to have something comforting by the way of a fish finger sandwich. I love a fish finger sandwich, honestly. I've actually seen these chunky ones in Marks and Spencer's that I really keep meaning to pick up so I can have a chunky fish finger sandwich, but I haven't. What I do have is bird's eye. I pop them in the air fryer just because I feel like I love the crunchiness and obviously how quick the air fryer is as well. But I've also been checking on the app for you guys just in case. So the bird's eye codfish fingers are 6 points for 4, which I think is absolutely perfect for me. But now I need to think about bread and what I want. So bread, I'm thinking about having them on a sandwich thin, just because I don't really, if I'm going to have a fish finger sandwich, normally I want it on a nice white bread, and I don't really eat a lot of white bread if I'm honest, other than like baguettes and tiger tails and that kind of thing. So I'm not going to have Warburtons because it's not my favourite when it comes to their white toasted bread. So what I am going to do is get some, I'm going to have it on a thin Warburtons, like Warburtons thin it's called. It's just basically pre-cut little thin pieces of bread, and they are 3 points. So 9 points. I am going to add a bit of cheese and a little bit of ketchup as well, but again, this is just to give you guys an approximate value of what lunch is going to cost. I never tracked condiments, I never tracked mayo, I never tracked ketchup and that kind of thing. Feel free to do that if you are being numerate, but I'm going to get on with making this sandwich because I'm very hungry. And I'm also going to have it with some of my favourite crisps, which are, as usual, the collection hand-cooked black truffle and olive oil. I like to have about 3 to 4 points of these. Again, weigh them out, use your barcode scanner. I am just doing it by eye. I am on maintenance, and this is quite a hefty lunch for me because by the time you've had the sandwich, you're looking at about 9 points before cheese, before ketchup. So it's like a 15-point lunch if you think about it, and if your points are only 23 a day, that's quite a hefty part of your budget. But again, I'm on maintenance, and I feel like it's a good opportunity for me to show you what maintenance can be like once you get there. You can afford to have a bit more. You can push the boat out a little bit. I mean, I say push the boat out, it's a sandwich and some crisps. It's nothing mega. If you looked at this in calorie value, it would be far less than point value. Just try and think about that sometimes. What WW are trying to get you to do is make smarter choices. So they put the point value up, but that doesn't mean it's a calorie rich meal. It doesn't mean that you're going over your calorie allowance if you've even been over your point allowance. So just think about that and don't be too bogged down by the numbers. Just make sure you do your research, make sure that you're doing what's right for you. But if I had to guess this in calories, I don't even think it would make like even maybe it might make a quarter or a third of your daily intake depending on what your calories are. But anyway, do your research, do your numbers, but don't get focused and bogged down by them. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, I've only had 3 out of the 4, so make sure that if you do have less, just because I've noticed that only 3 really fit on my sandwich, so there's not much point in me trying to
squeeze more on. That looks perfectly fine for me. I've got some mayo on here, some little slitherings of cheese. That's probably a point if I had to guess, guys, but again, if you're being accurate, get your scales out. I always used to weigh cheese, by the way. That was something that I did actually do.
Lunch was really great, and I'm now just brewing an afternoon cup of tea, and I'm going to have it with something that I bought recently. Well, Andy picked these up actually when he went shopping yesterday from Sainsbury's. They're these crisp and chewy Millionaire mini bites. Basically these are 68 calories per mini, and they are this big. I'm just gonna have the one. It's basically a chocolatey treat that's full of like crunchy bits and caramel and covered in a milk chocolate. I just quite fancy having something sweet with my cup of tea, but this bucket was full yesterday, so Andrew and our friend and myself made our way quite merrily through this. But anyway, yeah, that's what they look like in case you want to pick them up in store. I'm just brewing a cup of tea, and again, for those of you that are new, I never tracked milk in my cup of tea, even when I was being strict and I was pointing properly, just because again I very rarely drink a full cup of tea, and I just never saw the point in tracking my brews, if I'm honest. But if you do want to, I've just used semi-skimmed milk, and again I'm just going to have a little one of these to enjoy with my cup of tea. It's a fair few hours later now, guys, and I'm back in the kitchen because as much as I want to carry on with the DIY because the panelling is going so well, I know that in an hour or two I'm going to get quite hungry, and I don't fancy a takeout. I don't want to eat on the go. I want to be conscious, and I want to have something delicious and flavourful. But that doesn't mean I want to put a lot of effort in, and so I'm going to whip up one of my most tastiest ever recipes that takes minutes to prepare, and the flavour payback you get from this chicken, from this dish, is incredible. Now, you guys have seen me do this a few times, I'm sure, but I'm going to whip up some Korean chicken because it's fast, it's delicious, and it's packed full of flavour. So I'm not going to go back to my recipes. I'm literally going to try and do this off memory. Pear here, as ripe as you can. This isn't that ripe actually, it's not that soft, but I'm going to make do. I have some fresh ginger here. Again, I'm going to do all of this by eye. I'm not going to be particularly numerate about measuring stuff out because I've done this that many times. I feel like I can do it by eye. I'm going to have 2 nice fat cloves of garlic. I also have some sesame seed oil. Sesame seed oil? Is that what it's called, or just sesame oil? Either way, I have sesame oil, some dark soy sauce. You're also going to need some light brown sugar. You can switch this out for castor or Demerara or granulated, but the soft brown sugar gives a beautiful texture and also a nice caramelized flavour, which when it hangs onto the chicken and roasts, it's just delicious. And I also have some skinless chicken breast here that I'm going to use as well, which is of course free. So this is a very low point dish, if I'm honest. It's probably one of the most calorie conscious dishes that you can make that's just so delicious again. So I'm not going to bother tracking the sesame oil, but feel free to do that because I feel like that's where the bulk of the calorie is going to come in here. On WW, pretty sure skinless chicken breast is free. You have your sugar that you might need to account for, but by the time you've split this into portions, it really doesn't amount to much. So I would use my weeklies for things like this, where I didn't really want to get the scales out and weigh stuff out and be, you know, too obsessed about it. And it basically all goes into one dish. So what I'm going to do is get this pear grated, and then I'm going to grate my ginger, mince in my garlic, all into a bowl, get all my aromatics into a bowl, and then pop the chicken in with the rest of the marinade and let it sit for as long as possible until I need to roast it. No idea what we're having this with, but it'd be great with chicken, not with chicken, beef chicken. It would be great with chips, with rice, with bread, with salad, with roasted veggies. The possibilities are endless. Noodles, anything. You can literally have this with anything, and it's such a fantastic one for sticking in the freezer or taking the next day for work for leftovers, because the more it sits in its marinade, the better it tastes. Anyway, I'm going to start banging on, and I'm going to move you guys a bit closer so you can see. So yeah, it's basically just a case now of getting all of the ingredients prepared separately
and ensuring that it's all into a nice big bowl where all the flavours can infuse together. Of course, you're going to need salt and pepper as well. You would never normally think about putting pear with chicken, or I never would have done, but this just really works. I often hear pear getting mixed with pork, but I very rarely hear people using it for chicken, or at least I haven't anyway. But I'm going to just coarsely grate this in. Just to make my life easier, I'm going to use a grater. And I'm going to do the rest by sight. I'm pretty sure it's 2 tablespoons of the sugar and 3 tablespoons of the soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of the sesame oil. But again, I don't think you need to be too strict with exact numbers, just kind of that ratio. I know that the thing that's the least quantity is the sesame oil. A lot of people take the skin off their ginger. I don't. I just grate it straight in. And I'm going to probably use about 30 grams worth of ginger. I'm actually going to use 3 cloves of garlic because these are actually quite small cloves.
So all of the marinade is in. I'm going to pop some cling film on top of this now and pop it in the fridge until I'm ready to transfer it to a roasting dish, and then I will cook it in the oven at 180 for about 30 to 35 minutes.
Some rice. This is a very small portion actually, because we're also going to have some pita bread, so Andrew and I are going to share this small portion of rice. But before I just kind of serve up, the chicken's just come out of the oven, and what I'm thinking about doing is getting some kitchen tongs and putting the chicken onto our bowls, and then I'm going to pour the marinade from the Korean chicken into the rice and mix it up and make like a sticky rice, because as much as I love plain rice, the marinade of this chicken is too good to waste. So that is the plan. So hopefully this will work out. I'm literally just going to transfer all the chicken into this bowl, and then I'm going to use the rest of the sticky marinade and pour it on top, and it's going to be delicious. Like, I cannot bear for any of this juice to go to waste. Normally I would just mop it up with some pita, but I'm thinking that having a nice flavoured rice might be a bit nicer. So I'm just transferring all of that in. And this, honestly, I wish you could smell this. It's for such a simple dish. It's so aromatic, it's so good. I literally cannot wait. So all the chicken has been moved into this bowl, and as you can see, it's looking golden and delicious and crispy and caramelized. And then I will just move it down slightly as we pour this marinade as carefully as possible, because this tray is piping hot into the rice. So that is done, and already I feel like the rice has just completely leveled up. So I am going to put this out in a moment, but before that I'm going to pop a couple of pita breads in. This is the one that I'm using today. I'm not too precious about which pitas that we use. If I had to guess, I would say this is about 5 or 6 points for one. But again, check your app. If you wanted to opt for chicken, not chicken, I keep saying chicken, rice or bread. I used to do that a lot. Sometimes I just have it with bread, or I choose one or the other. But today, I'm feeling like a little bit of both. So I'm going to pop these in the toaster, get them nice and toasted, and then serve up, and we'll be ready to eat.
so delicious. Honestly, there is something about Korean chicken. I'm not naked, guys, honestly, I do have shorts on. There's just something about Korean chicken that just slaps every single time. It's so good, so vibrant, so fresh. I just love it. You really do have to try it. For such a simple marinade, the fact that it was literally sat in the fridge for, it couldn't have been more than 2 hours. We didn't leave it for any longer than that, but the amount of flavour that was imparted into that chicken and how moist it was and just how sticky the rice was and everything just came together, and it was a delight for the senses. Taste, scent, it was tactile, it was just scrummy. It really is. So please give it a try. You can also do it with chicken with skin on it. It's absolutely delicious if you were to do that on drumsticks or chicken thigh, because of course the bone and the skin just adds another layer of texture and a bit more fat as well, which is lovely and flavorful. But anyway, I'm gonna call it a day here, because I'm probably not going to eat anything more. If I do have anything, it's most likely going to be an orange, which is free. You guys don't need to really factor that in. But anyways, I hope you've all enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. I'll reply to every single one of you, and I will see you next week. Bye!